Let's talk about the new Clipse album. This is Spiritual Sense, Information for Your Soul. I love art that moves you, and I love hip hop. I love the art of hip hop. I love the history. I don't know all the details. I'm not a hip hop head, but I love when people like pour their love and energy into something and they create something for all of us to appreciate and, evaluate and see what we can take from it. So I was very moved. The last album that moved me was Kendrick Lamar's GNX album. And I think it makes a lot of sense that they are close and that Kendrick is on this album for how great it is. I have not listened to all the albums. I'm not the right person to say whether this should be album of the year, but I think I can speak to quality in all my years of consuming media and music. And the quality of this is very much giving best of the best. Like this is one of the best, like all the different layers, like from the beat to the style of the rhymes to the lyrics to the rollout of the album to the interviews that have come out. I just think this is like high caliber quality. And if it has touched me, and right, I don't listen to everything. I really do not listen to everything. I've listened to this album at least a dozen times because I really resonated so much with it. I love that Pusha T is 48, Malice No Malice is 50, 52. This is exactly what I hoped for when the evolution of hip hop, right? I think 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds making music, beautiful thing. You're talking about your experience, but the evolution, the maturity that's come, this is exactly what I want when I'm listening to art from grown men, from real men. And I don't even like say real men, but in some of the interviews, Pusha T has talked about real men. And so I want to highlight just like some overall things about them as men, as people, figuring things out in this world and having to deal with challenges just like the rest of us and figure it out, what they want to do with their life and which direction they want to go, how they're going to handle problems. I think it is very, very important to speak to the integrity of these men, that these are men that have a foundation of goodness, of God, of doing what's right, right? Like the integrity in them just like really speaks up. The loyalty, like they are tribe minded people. Like if I F's with you, then you are it. Like I have a certain loyalty to you and to myself to be a good person and to be a good friend or be a good brother to you, whatever it is. I just think that's a beautiful thing. I'm sure they practice this over the decades, right? Because a lot of men in their 20s are doing what they've been told to do, like use women, abuse women, take all the resources from women. But it's really about, can you unlearn that, right? That's the programming that men and women get. Can you unlearn that and create something bigger than yourself? Oh my gosh, I'm so impressed. So the quality I spoke of, the speaking up. So one of the things I've been saying as I speak about the gender wars and the state of dating and relationships, in 2025, one of the things that I say is I need more good men to speak up. I need them to call out or call in other men who are doing detrimental things to the community. And so I love, respect, I like 10 times over the fact that Pusha T called Kanye West by name and called Travis Scott by name for like being effed up people and doing like terrible things. When Pusha T said, and I didn't even know that Pusha T worked on Kanye West, God is King. I think it was the God is King album. I didn't know. And there's one of the songs on this album, the Let God Sort Him Out, that sounds like it could have been on the God is King album. I just thought that was interesting and just speaks to like the style of the quality of the music. Pusha T was explaining in one of his interviews that, the only thing me and Ye agree on is music, right? He's like, we're like high level on just music. Everything else, do not agree. Do not agree. And so I would have loved to hear like a behind the scenes conversation about what men like Pusha T and Malice thought about Kanye West parading his wife, his new wife, naked in front of people. I just don't think that's something men, right? Men with standards, men, right, who stand for something bigger than themselves would approve of. But I have a feeling like men like Pusha T and Malice are not the kind of men Kanye West is seeking approval from. So I love that. Do we need to get like Travis? I think was he had a feature with Drake on one of his songs and didn't listen to Drake's verse before the song was released. Like, even if he didn't know what Drake wrote, I just think that is so sloppy. Like, sending in music or doing things like right up until the deadline and not even being able to go over it thoroughly or to ensure that the people you are really for are protected. I think that's whack. I've never been a fan of Travis Scott. I think I like the one song he did with Drake. And then definitely after that horrific incident happened at one of his concerts, I was like, no, like I don't even like if you could do that. So the people getting trampled at his concert is one thing, right? You ignoring the pleas for help and crowd control is one thing. But all the things he did after are just in line with who his character is. That's not a kind of person that's for me. And I'm one of those people because I love God so much, because I'm so grounded in kindness and love. I cannot like separate the artist out from the art when they are harmful, like actively harmful to people. On my channel, you'll see a lot of videos, not a lot, like three. I think I have like 3 videos on Summer Walker. I wouldn't say Summer Walker is a bad person. I think she has a lot of internal pain going on. So I can consume her art and not feel conflicted about it. But I cannot consume Chris Brown's art. I can't. Like, this man has not yet stopped harming people. I cannot in my mind separate out, oh, the energy that he's pouring into his music is not the same as what he interacts with people in the rest of the world. It's not possible. And the people that really like Chris Brown, I mean, you're not. I mean, as the Pusha T would say, I didn't even want you listening to my music. Like, we are not the same. We're not the same. So you wouldn't even be in my space. So that's all I have to say about that. I think that's it. I did want to say before I go through some of the tracks. John 10:10 is on one of the songs. It's a Malice line, and it says, "The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full." When I was growing up, I read King James version, so the line that I've memorized is, "I have come that they may have life and have it more abundantly." Jesus is the homie. I'm not Christian. I don't really f with the religion stuff, but I love Jesus. I love God. This is basically the foundation of my channel. And I love how Malice has incorporated on this album and in all of his interviews talking about Jesus or, being guided by a higher power, something like that. I think it's so necessary to integrate that into just our everyday talk. I don't see how people are doing life without God. How can you, like, a lot of the stuff doesn't make sense. Like, what's happening in the world right now, it doesn't make sense. How do you make sense of it? How do you find peace? And how do you live an abundant life when you know that so many people are struggling? The only way I've found, and I think there are some, maybe some philosophies where you can find some of that inspiration to live a good life. But a lot of those philosophies, not all of them, a lot of them, most of them are grounded in spirituality. It's about nature, the earth. It's about balance. Like, a lot of the themes that are a part of it are to help you live a better life. And that's honestly what I think God is for. Like, God is a guiding light so that you can live your best life, so that you can have whatever it is that you want in this lifetime. Peace. And the thing, you can have material things too, but like this inner knowing about who you are and what you deserve and the goodness and that you feel worthy, I think all those things come from God. You don't have to call it God. I like calling it God. I definitely like saying Jesus when I talk about God stuff, but I'm not religious and I'm not Christian. So do with that what you will. The best interview that I really, really enjoyed, because I've been watching like all of them, like when people are channeling God, goodness, like this work of art came from somewhere, not them. Do you understand? And I think Malice has made it clear that if but for the grace of God, like I couldn't do any of this without God. That's just how I feel. So that kind of talk resonates with me. Fat Joe, and Jada Kiss, they have a podcast and they interviewed Clipse, and it's the most I heard them talk about God. Fat Joe literally asks, "What do you pray for?" What do you? Nobody. I mean, there's this one. What's his name? B.Dot. B.Dot asked about like the Bible verses that were used, and some details on the scripture, not the scripture, the lyrics, but nobody that I've seen yet has asked like specifically about God. And like a question like, what do you pray for? I just thought was iconic and a sign of, I don't know, good coming back. I want to think like good and evil, right? Because if you look at what's happening in the world right now, just in hip hop right now, I didn't want to bring up Drake in this at all, right? I am a person, but it's hard to do it when we're talking about hip hop. I am a person who loved Drake in my teenage years. I definitely outgrew Drake in my late 20s and wished now, like after listening to this album, I'm like seething. Like I'm mad that I couldn't choose Drake's side in like the battle between him and Kendrick. But I stand for what's good and what's right. And I love evolution. Like evolve or die. Your soul has to evolve or you stagnate and you die. Like your insides, they atrophy. So I'm sad because I really thought that Drake would be able to evolve in this way, but he decided to have a baby with a porn. Okay, so Clipse album is phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. They did a great, great job. I love all of the messages of abundance and inner peace and family and luxury. Luxury. I heard some people were upset about, this is an aside, I heard some people were upset about Tracy Ellis Ross doing a little documentary or a reality show essentially about her solo travel. And I was like, why are y'all mad about people enjoying their lives? Like, why? I mean, I know why, but I'm just like, when I first saw her trailer for her solo travel show, I was so inspired. I was like, I felt, it felt so relatable to me, right? I'm 36 now. I've lived a bit of life. I've been working a full-time job, paying decent money for a while. So I would hope that we're all getting a little bit better every year and doing the things that we want to do. I'm a person that loves to solo travel. I love to see the world. I love to experience different cultures. And yeah, and I love to do it in a luxurious way. So I loved her stuff. But I feel like this album sends a similar message that there is nothing wrong with you wanting for more, like striving for more or wanting to live a luxurious life for a really high quality life. Like you can have that. Like you can have that. So that's it. I just love it. Okay. So getting into the track list, 13 songs on the album in a current world where people do like 20 songs, 22 songs, 26 songs on albums. 13 songs felt so right to tell the story. The first song covered the death of their parents. It covered grief. And my son recently moved out. He's going to college. He went to, I mean, college hasn't started yet, but he traveled. And it was hard. I can't say it's been hard. Today I'm okay, right? Today I'm okay. But the couple of days after he was gone, I was crying like every 2 hours. I was just not in it. And so that really coincided with me finding this album, listening to it on repeat over and over again, and the grief. So of course I cried listening because I'm a little bit obsessed with death. Not death, but like the cycle of life, and that everyone will have to experience this thing of losing their parents. Either they lose you or you will lose them. That's just the fact of life. We're all going to die. And how it's a thing everybody experiences, but it's a thing like not often talked about in detail. And so when Pusha T and Malice talked about what it was like when their parents died, like Pusha T almost losing himself, Malice being the one to find, not in the song, he didn't say he found both of his parents, but in one of his interviews, he said, I was the one who saw them dead first. I was the one who found them because I was the one that went to check up on them. He had the time to be able to do that. And, but for God, that he was able to hold his composure or process his grief in a way that he could still be there for his family, support them, give them the news, but also process through the death of parents that were good to them. Like, I think it's one thing to lose a parent you're not close to or a parent who abused you. I think it's a whole other thing to lose a parent who was so good, who loved you, who provided something so beautiful. So the thought of that, I love my son, even though I had my son really young and I would not recommend. I'm a person who wanted to be a mother. I love all the labor that goes into mothering. I love watching a little human personality be created and a little person evolve over time and then go out onto their own. I didn't think it would feel so sad when my son left. In that like last week before he was leaving, I was just so sad. But it's like the process of life that even though you might know, I hope you know, you might not know, but people like Malice and Pusha T, I think they have an understanding that death is not final, that you can still relate to that person in a way, even though their physical form is not here, but it's still hard. But it's still hard. But you still have to acknowledge that their physical form is not here, right? Because he talks about wishing he could kiss his mother's cheek on another song. Yeah, I think we all understand that, death is the human body, disintegrating, but the idea that they're not physically there, I think it hurts. So I love, love, love the story of how they decided to put this song as number one on the album. I think it fits so much with the tone of who they are. Like it grounds them in a humanity, and everything else after is just really, really good, really, really high quality art that I am so glad they created and shared with us. So the next song has Kendrick on it, and Kendrick's verse is fire. I think it's so like mind blowing that he also wrote this verse in the middle of his battle with Drake. Like that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like Kendrick is really, really talented. That song, Chains and Whips. Let's go the songs. Yeah, I like some songs more than others, but I really, really, really like this song. And it reminds me of a video I want to do just on blackness, just celebrating blackness. Like I love all the forms of blackness. And they recently came out with a video for this song. Kendrick is not in it, wish he was, but the imagery feels so Black American, right? And hip hop, rap is Black American culture. And I was born in St. Croix in the Caribbean. I'm like born a US citizen, but I fully understand. I'm not like I didn't grow up in Black American culture. I have a reverence for it and a love of all things Black. I just love Black people, period. And so I just really appreciated the imagery that came along with the lyrics. The culturally inappropriate, yeah, I talk about that. The culturally inappropriate that they say throughout, what it invoked in me reminded me of something else Professor Sky said. I like really smart people, right? He's a professor. So what he said was about guilty pleasures. There's no such thing really as a guilty pleasure. It's really society probably shamed you into thinking you should not like this thing because it's not up to the standard of whoever's rule that what right is, and that you should do what you want without feeling guilty about it. I feel the same way about this is culturally inappropriate, like saying the wrong thing, but it's not the wrong thing, it's like the appropriate thing, or somebody else doing your thing and doing it wrong. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we could take it both sides. Like I'm saying something that's culturally inappropriate because I'm going against the dominant culture, and the dominant culture is culturally inappropriate because they're taking something from me that they're not supposed to be taking and just messing it up, right? Doing it in their own whitewashed way that is not culturally appropriate, not to the culture. And when we say culture, we really mean Black American culture, hip hop culture, Black culture, because there's a lot of things that transcend um, nationality, right? That there are Black people in a bunch of different countries that can easily resonate with Blackness from a different culture, from a different country. Other highlights from that song include the importance of getting money. Like it's important for you to be able to attract money, but not being so obsessed and loving money that you forsake all others and all of your values just for the sake of having money. I think I talked about talent. Your talent is from God versus doing it yourself. The importance of therapy, like self-discovery, and how the devil, ego, are different words for the negative shadow parts of ourselves, can tempt you and lead you on a path that's away from the light, that's away from your real purpose of being here on earth. Next song, POV, I think they're talking about being the chosen one. With most of my clients, I call most of my clients in session the chosen one at some point in our work together, because they are unlike everything around them, unlike every person around them. They are the one to get out. They're the one to, break the generational curse. They're the first one to go to therapy. They're like the first in their family. A lot of those people come to me. And I highlight the fact that what they're doing is incredibly, incredibly hard. And so Clipse was talking about being one of the only ones, like them being the only ones to get out. Like a lot of their peers that they grew up with, doing the drug stuff, selling drugs, died or went to prison. And they were just one of the very few people that got out and made a life for themselves. I think that's part of what it means to be the chosen one. At some point, your choices divert, you take a different path than everybody else, and you have the choice, but you have to like actively pursue it. You have to actively do things differently, actively like challenge your mind to think differently so you can have different results to get the outcomes that they have now, which I mean, I am impressed with. On their song, So Be It, listen, number 4, I wrote loyalty, morals, values, standards. These are principled men. Do you understand? These are men that you cannot harm other people around. You cannot brag to them about harming other people. And I just think that's so cool. Although I'm like back and forth with this because I felt like a couple points there was some devaluing of women, but I don't know if it's that because I say no woman is worth more than another woman, right? A stripper is not worth more than me. I'm not worth more than a stripper. We're all inherently worthy. But I think it's important to talk about categories, right? There are different categories of women, and the kind of woman you want is not the kind of woman I would want. I don't want women, but you know what I mean. And I think it's when I say I say out loud, like in my real life, I cannot believe because I had a higher standard for Drake. I cannot believe this man had a baby with a porn star. I cannot believe, like, and not to say like being a porn star is bad. I think, listen, get money. I think sex work is legitimate work, but we're talking about two different. Well, we're really not because they're the same. Drake and that woman is the same, but in general, there is a difference between a woman who also has high standards, who also creates a world for herself where she doesn't have to use her body to get money, and a woman who does. Like it's different. One is not better than the other. But in their raps, they kind of make it sound like one is better than the other. Like, I don't want your bitch. You know what I mean? But that must be the man talk. And I respect men. I love men. So I get it. I get it. But it's still like, I don't know. To me, it feels like misogyny just can't help but be in there somewhere. Although I do think they have a deep respect for women. Yeah, in general, like valuing feminine energy in general. I do think these are men who value feminine energy. Okay, so Ace Trumpets, I wrote a comeback. And I don't really remember what I meant by that. Just that them being gone for 15, 16 years and coming out with this album and doing it at just this high level. Just very, very impressive work. Love it, love it, love it. All things considered, Pusha T talked about his wife having a miscarriage, and this is just the real man stuff I want to see. This is what I want to hear. This is real life. Like that's real life. You know what I mean? That's Thank you for sharing that. I think that is important. And then I think one of the lyrics said, if the sky is not your limit, you'll never get it. This is more of the abundance talk, the abundance mindset that they have woven throughout their entire album, that nothing is wrong with having things. You just need to be a person who is grounded in truth. You need to be seeking God first. You need to be figuring out, like, how do I evolve myself? How do I work on the qualities in myself so that I can become a better person, and then everything else will come to you. That is woven throughout their whole album. Then it said, dethrone the king, release the queen. And I liked that. I like that. To me, that was more confirmation about how society is shifting. I don't know that it's really shifting, but my hope is that it's shifting from devaluing the feminine to valuing the feminine and understanding that we need it to be amplified more to get some balance in what we're seeing in the world. Like, y'all have been ignoring and suppressing women for too long. So that's what I think the trend is for feminine energy. The next song, what was it? Mike Tyson, Blow to the Face. It's interesting. I was thinking like they're romanticizing their time in selling cocaine, romanticizing like the money that they got from it, the luxury experiences they were able to have from it, but doing it in a way that also feels tasteful, like rich, because rich people do cook all the time. They do. And yeah, it doesn't, the imagery is not like junky trap house. It really does feel. I'm not doing the drugs, and I don't think they do any drugs. Right? These men look like they eat their vegetables and drink their green juice and stuff. But there is something about, this is my story. Like, this is literally what I experienced in my life. This is part of how I became who I am, by selling drugs and doing certain things that I don't do anymore. But that experience has afforded me to evolve in this particular way. And so I'm gonna romanticize it a little bit, right? Even though I'm not like actively in it, I'll romanticize it a little bit. I respect it. I respect it. These are hip hop men. The EBITDA, I forgot how you pronounced it. I looked it up because I was like, what is he talking about? I don't know. What are you talking about? But it really fits in line. So it stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. It's a financial metric used to assess a company's profitability. These are business, man. These are, right? That's like Jay-Z. I'm a businessman. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The fact that they were able to buy their way out of the deal that they had with UMG, like, where did y'all get that money from? How have y'all been making money? How, how? And really, they're businessmen. All their money doesn't come from music. They have been able to generate a sort of wealth and be able to make certain decisions for their best interest because they've done well with their money. I think that's so smart. I think that is so cool. Follow that up with FICO, RICO. I, I thought this was so smart. But again, highlighting the importance of having a good credit score, of being financially literate. I fully believe if you want to help the Black community, get your money right. Focus on you and getting your money right so that you can be able to help other people make decisions that actually move things. I, I, I loved it. I loved it. I don't have anything to say about Inglorious Bastard. I feel like it's a track that, if you have listened to all the Clipse albums or listened to Pusha T albums, you would get it. Girl, I don't get it. Okay, I don't really get it. I don't really get it. Yeah, because they have like a hip hop. They have another rapper on there who I'm not familiar with. The song is good. I just don't think I get it. Then they have So Far Ahead, which sounds like a Kanye song, but they worked on I didn't realize this when I first listened to it. So I just think it's so fitting that they would also have the melody that sounds very Christian. I mean, Pharrell did the beats on this, right? But they've worked together so much. It sounds so Christiany, more than inspiration. It sounds like religious music. That one, like So Far Ahead, sounds like religious music, and it's beautiful. Like it's beautiful sonically. It's just very, very nice. And then they have their Let God Sort Them Out, which I think is pretty straightforward. It's the one that features Nas on it. And so Nas, Kellis accused him of being physically abusive. I don't know why Nicki Minaj broke up with him. I think he was probably controlling, but I wasn't there. I don't know. I wonder how much Nas has changed. Nas has been very private with his life. So maybe that's a thing that, Clipse respects. I don't really respect men that hit other women, but I don't really know all the things that have happened. And at this point, that was decades ago. So I haven't heard story after story about Nas being, violent or abusive towards women or anybody else. I would like to think that he is a good man, decent, respectful, if he's on a Clipse album. But yeah, I don't really know. And then the last song, By the Grace of God, like very, very succinct, a lot of Pharrell on there, highlighting the importance of forgiveness and evolution. If there's anything you take away from my channel, I hope it's that it is very, very important for your soul to evolve. Like, that's one of the reasons you're here on earth, so that you can have fun and be open to the experiences that will let your soul evolve. There's really no escaping challenges in life, but there is a way to frame them in a way where you can learn, right? Not hold grudges or resentment and get what you really want from life. I think Pusha T and Malice did an excellent job in conveying that spiritual message that you can have whatever your heart desires. You just need to be grounded in the light to get it. Be a light seeker, honestly. And everything else will work out. It will. Like, if you're really tapped into God, the goodness of God, if you are working on your values, being ones where you do no harm, where you treat your neighbor like yourself, like, I really think you will see your life improve, and the inside of you, like the happiness, the peace inside of you will also increase. Excellent, excellent album. I definitely think you should go listen to it. It is so like a beautiful masterpiece in hip hop and what it can look like in 2025 with people who've been in the industry for like 20 years. It is incredible, incredible, and I couldn't not share like my thoughts on it. It's so good. It's so good. You should listen. Let me know what you think in the comments. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Share it with somebody who likes hip hop and maybe could use some inspiration on, guiding themselves to the light. Subscribe to my channels for more videos about God and being a better person. And thank you for watching.